Hello, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your September monthly tarot reading. I'm Annie here at the Intuitive Teacup. We are going to read your tarot cards. Please come into this general reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something or better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later date. Never take action on anything that's strange or foreign or confusing. Assume the message is going out to someone else, and then again, it may resonate for you in the future, hopefully. Let's see. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is optional advice, guidance, a little energy check-in. So do with it as you like. We're going to get started. Hopefully we'll get you some helpful and insightful messages here for Sagittarius. It's funny, the Ten of Swords coming up twice, interesting. I always love this tarot card, the depiction of the Seven of Swords. I don't know why, but it always reminds me of Jane Fonda, and it's funny because I think she's a Sagittarius, so Jane Fonda's showing up in your reading. Love it. All right, we're using Modern Witch Tarot. Bottom of your deck is the Death card, which is actually really fitting because you have some sort of ending that is positive. These cards are sort of making a nice little aspect to each other, but it's an ending that maybe is a long time coming. We're going to talk more about that, but let's hop in for Sagittarius. So since we did kind of start with that, let me figure out what this is. So your first house has a lot to do with your identity, who you are as a person, how you present yourself. So with that, there could just be there could be some major change or transformation. You could quite literally be changing the way you present yourself in, a more spiritual sense. It could also be some sort of major transformation in how you're dressing or how you want the world to see you. There's definitely more thought and action being put into, when you enter a room, what is that presence? What is that vibe? How are people reading you? There could also be some sort of internal change happening too, where, maybe your priorities and goals are different, and that's reflecting not only outward but inward as well. So there could be a change of heart, a change of principle, a change of beliefs. That's a very strong word for Sagittarius. In fact, that word belief is especially important here if it's coming up in your 9th house as well too. So there could have been some major incident or moment where it tested your faith or something that you believe in, and because of that you were sort of forced to see a different perspective, or maybe it shook your world in terms of something that you thought was true, and so now your approach to life is slightly different and changed. And it's not a bad thing, it's like a new reality has presented itself. And with the Ten of Swords, it's not always an easy change or transition, but what I'm seeing here on the cards is that it is going to be good and it is going to be fine. But with any major change or transformation, which is what the Death card represents, there is kind of this awakening of like, oh, this, I'm leaving the old chapter behind and I'm stepping into a new. All right. So let's see. And it may have to do with love and relationships, especially if you were in some sort of relationship, possibly. It doesn't have to be with a water sign with the Queen of Cups, but that does indicate loving romantic relationships potentially, especially in your 5th house of dating. There is going to be a full moon. Let's see. I need to look up the date exactly. I believe it's the very end of September, like the 29th or the 28th. So anytime there's a full moon, we want to look at what sector it's highlighting in your chart. So I'm specifically talking about Sagittarius Rising. I should have mentioned that earlier. But any Sag placement can watch this. It may or may not resonate. So the full moon in your house of dating, some sort of, again, positive culmination, but something that really changed you as a person, especially Scorpio energy. I don't know if you were involved with a Scorpio, but it could have been the idea of being with someone who, for better or worse, had a major change and transformation on your life and maybe how you approach dating. Now, it doesn't have to be a final ending in terms of breaking up. That's possible for some of you. We'll look into that a little bit more. But to be honest, a lot of you may end up choosing to go deeper into the current relationship that you're in if it is positive, but something about that is changing you on an internal level, or maybe how you thought your life was going to go in terms of relationships. And I really do want to underscore it as a positive change, because in your seventh house, which is all about long-term commitments, relationships, partnerships, whether they're romantic or business related, right? You have the Three of Pentacles, which is a really good card of building something in the long term. It's earth energy with that pentacle, so it's going to take time. It's not something that happens overnight. But if you've been working on some sort of romantic relationship in your life, the full moon in your fifth house may indicate, okay, there's a completion of the quote unquote dating chapter, and now it's like, okay, like we're living together, or this is going to be marriage, or possibly babies or children, right? Fifth house also rules family and children and things of that sort. So it doesn't have to be that, but yeah, for a lot of you, I'm wondering what the Ten of Swords is if you are in a healthy and thriving relationship. And we will talk about those who are already in a long-term relationship. I'm touching upon more like kind of dating at this point. Yeah. I do think I'm going to go back to what I said previously about a relationship that really changed you to the core, for better or worse. And something about it isn't easy with the Ten of Swords. I don't want to gloss over that and just be like, quite literally what this card says, like everything is fine. Sometimes that can be sort of a defense mechanism, because we're not actually wanting to deal with what the reality is or what the scenario is. With the Ten of Swords, I always talk about how the planetary connotation is about the sun, which, you know, we call a planet in astrology. It's a luminary, right? The sun and moon. The sun in Gemini. So Gemini is the opposing sign to Sagittarius. So with that, there can be complete opposition and difference, but there can also be this beautiful sort of opposites attract, like, you know, the missing piece to your puzzle. With Gemini, it's all about sort of, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but the smaller mind. Sagittarius is more like the broader mind. It's about, you know, concepts, philosophies, higher education. Gemini is more like the, you know, the developing mind of the child, if you will. It's, you know, primary school. It's facts and information and making connections and linking things. Whereas Sagittarius is like putting the whole picture together, right? You know, if Gemini is the language we speak and grow up with, Sagittarius is like, you know, the foreign languages that we learn in life, you know, metaphorically, of course. So with Sun in Gemini, Ten of Swords, getting back to that, I'm giving you a little astrology lesson here. It's the illumination, right? Anytime there's the sun, it's like shining a big old spotlight on something. It's the illumination of new information that, again, changes our course of action or our plans. Sun is a lot to do with our identity, due to the fact that it's this card, Ten of Swords, is coming up here. There is a major change in your identity and, again, your core, who you are as a person. During Virgo season, which is going to be for most of September, a little bit of Libra too, the sun is going to be in your 10th house of Virgo, which has to do with your career and also your status and reputation and public standing. So again, there's this big contrast of how you see you versus how the world sees you. Again, a major change in the status of a relationship might be like, you are now the wife of this person, or the husband, or you are now the parent of this child, or you are now the, you know, I hate to go negative, but like you are now the ex of this person who was very well known in, you know, the business world or whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, there's kind of an interesting storyline going here with, you know, a major change in who you are. So I'm going to kind of pare that down, because I think we're getting a little bit too complicated for just a monthly reading, but I hope that makes sense to some of you. Eight of Cups is about emotional bravery. It's a card about knowing when it's a good time to walk away, which is very difficult, because the Eight of Cups, it's like, we've come this far, we've built this relationship, we've built this project, we've built this lifestyle. But it's the idea of listening to your heart and your intuition. And usually when the Eight of Cups shows up, it says, but we're not quite done here. Like there's a lot more out there for us, and we know it. So even if we don't see it, even if we can't taste it, even if we don't, you know, physically have the plan in front of us, it's about following that gut impulse, that intuition. That's what that watery energy in the moon here represents. Following that intuition to your Nine of Cups, which is all about wish fulfillment and the next big thing. If it shows up too much in a reading, sometimes it can indicate, we don't have enough staying power, and maybe we need to reevaluate, are we always chasing the next big thing? Are we chasing happiness? That's, that can be a challenging lesson. But I don't know, with it coming up here, you do have several cards of endings. I think this is a very positive Eight of Cups, saying that kind of nagging feeling of like, I think there's something more, I got to revisit this thing, especially a lot of planets are in retrograde. So I do use the word revisit, reassess, reallocate, maybe go back to things in the past and make sure, you've tied up the loose ends, and then moving on wholly and completely, not feeling like you do have loose ends. I feel like there's a big project or a big mission or a big, I heard mission statement. That's very interesting. Some of you that may tie into your workplace. I don't know. There's just some calling. I think that's a good word for it. There's some calling. It's like unfinished business. Thank you, Spirit. That's something I was kind of dancing around, but unfinished business for my Sagittarius. And again, with like the High Priestess, it's like there's this nagging feeling, this inner intuition of just like, I know I need to do this and I've been putting it off, or the timing hasn't been right. But I will say the timing seems right in Virgo season. So just putting it out there if you're looking for some sort of timeline. So let's go back to dating and romance, things of that. And then we are going to touch upon money and career as well. We've talked a little bit about all of those things, but we'll get a little bit more into it. So yes, some sort of culmination in a relationship, possibly moving on to the next level. But then you have the Seven of Wands here. So let me assess this and see where this is going. For some of you, I do have to be honest, I do see a relationship that was kind of forming and enjoyable, but it does seem for some of you a storyline here where there's a major conversation about, do you want to merge? Do you want to move in together? Do you want to make this official? Do you want to have children? Like some major like proposal of like earth energy, meaning like let's put this in the history books. Let's make this long term in some capacity, or something that's a little bit more grounded and stable than just like casual dating. So like there's some sort of offer that is presented, and maybe you're the one offering it, Sagittarius, right? It could go vice versa. But then with the Seven of Wands, I almost think that there's this, it just doesn't feel quite right to me yet. So for some of you, you're going to decline an offer, or vice versa, the person that you're looking to sort of break bread with and move to the next level. It could be that there's some blockages or obstacles. Maybe it doesn't mean forever, but let's look at this. Yeah, if I don't know, with the Two of Swords, it's almost like this person isn't quite trusting the timing of it yet. So it might take them some time to warm up to the idea. So there might be delays in you guys building together. And it doesn't mean forever, but again, with Mercury, Venus retrograde, Venus retrograde is going to correct itself, or go direct rather, early September, but you might be dealing with kind of the remnants of that. And once Venus goes direct again, Venus rules our relationships and our love life, connections, romance, things of that sort. Once it goes direct, it's going to be a little bit more easy to have those conversations and kind of map out and plan out, where we want to go in our relationships in the future. But yeah, there could be some muddled energy there that you're still kind of working through at the beginning of September. So hang in there. If this doesn't have to do with romance, do keep in mind this may have to do with just a friendship. It may have to do with a partnership at work where, one person wants to move forward and really commit and cement this idea, and the other person's like, it's just not there for me yet. So give that time. Again, for some of you, this Ten of Swords is indicating the ending of some sort of chapter, and it might be in a relationship, dating-wise. But I will say the way the cards are falling, even though it doesn't feel like it at first, it might actually be a blessing in disguise. So I just want you guys to be open-minded to that. And the thing is, I think you already know that, right? That Sagittarian optimism, even though, breakups and dating and being rejected, that's never easy. Nobody wants to go through that, right? But I'm not necessarily getting the sense of like, what is that word? It's, give me a second. There's a word I'm dancing around here. This sort of, it's killing me that's not coming to me. It's something I associate with the sign of Libra, where it's sort of wanting to avoid conflict and basically glossing over to be like, everything is fine. There's a word for that, but I'm not coming up with it. I don't necessarily sense that you're doing that. I think this is a person that you did have a good, strong connection with, so there's absolutely disappointment. I think there's a little bit of not nostalgia, but sentimentality for like, maybe you're checking up on their social media and kind of doing the sighing and like, oh, I wish they wanted to build with me or this or that. But ultimately, I think that there is this understanding that had you stuck with it and it didn't feel right, you would have missed out on experiences that are meant to be had. And that's where I think this 8 of Cups comes in. Now, obviously, that's not for all of you, right? That's for some of you. Again, the other way I can read this is, again, the idea of wanting to move to the next chapter in terms of a long-term partnership, and the 3 of Pentacles could certainly mean building upon that. However, even if there is a mutual desire to build and go into a long-term partnership, or again, start a family, move in together, whatever that major next step is, there is this feeling of having to let go of a certain side of who you are, a part of your identity that maybe you were sort of this, self-proclaimed bachelorette for life or something like that, or something, I'm fiercely independent and this is how I live my life. And it's not bad, but again, there's this kind of wake-up call of, oh, this is different, but it doesn't mean it's bad, but it is challenging the way you thought something was going to be or turn out. Yeah, that's very interesting energy. All right, so for those who are already in a long-term partnership, again, things I've already said may resonate for you in a slightly different way, but sort of the same general idea of, yes, partnership is strong, but it is forcing me to sort of reevaluate who I am in this relationship and what I want out of this relationship, and make adjustments, accordingly, right? In any healthy relationship, both you and your partner should be encouraging each other to grow and develop. And, you aren't going to be the same person you were 10 years ago. And that's fine. That's healthy. But there does need to be open and honest conversation about, your needs, desires, etc. Right? You know this. I do feel like there's an important conversation coming to a head that I have mixed feelings. I don't know if you don't see it coming at all, or it's something that is a long time coming, but you've been avoiding. I do see those 2 cards indicating like, yeah, a big important conversation does need to be had. Now, transitioning over to money, because for some of you, it may actually have to do with money, but for some of you, I actually see a very positive message of like a much needed raise or payout that's been due to you, especially at work. What's interesting though, and obviously this won't be for all of you, but some of you may decide to part ways in order to pursue something new career-wise, or to start a new project or undertaking that would take up a lot of your quote-unquote like work time. And it's almost like just then, if you feel like you've kind of been the middleman, the middlewoman, however you want to say it, sort of the little guy who it's like you've been trying to sort of climb the ladder or get some sort of attention and recognition for the work you're doing, it's almost like only when you decide to part ways do you get that. And I almost feel like some of you, your boss or supervisor, is going to make you some offer to entice you to stay, and it may involve raising your salary. But to be honest, some of you, you're not going to take it. It's almost like too little, too late. I hope that makes sense for some of you. And I don't really have an opinion on that because I don't see it in the cards. I think it just simply is. Some of you may choose to stay because, the pay raise does mean a lot to you and that would help. And maybe it would help you save for a future trip or expedition or something you want to do. Others of you, it's like, no, I've already decided. Like, you can dangle these little carrots in front of me, but, I did my time here and I wasn't appreciated. So it's like, peace, which I think is kind of funny. And I guess because I get it. I totally get it. Some money may be allocated to parents or a parent. I don't know if you're helping pay bills or a sum of money to parents. You may be paying back money you owe, especially to a mother figure. If that doesn't resonate, some of you may quite literally be saving money for when you enter motherhood, if you're thinking of family planning. Or for those who already have children, the idea of like, I hate to say like mommy responsibilities, right? That should be equal mommy and daddy, but you understand what I mean. I'm saying that because of the high priestess, very moon maternal energy. So something to do with maternal energy, mothering, being the mother, serving the mother in some capacity. There may be some money going to that. Also, especially with Mercury in retrograde, which it will be until, I think September 15th-ish, I would not spend any money on technology, upgrading technology, fixing technology, going back to, repair things that have needed the attention. But yeah, especially buying a new laptop. Some of you, I see you wanting to rush out and do that, and I would wait till the retrograde is over. I don't see that going well. Not to be negative, I'm just being completely honest. If you want a well-functioning laptop that will serve you for many, many years to come, I would wait until after September 15th. That goes for any major piece of technology. If you're getting a new cell phone, a new television, a new gaming system, fill in the blank. Let's see. There may also be an important conversation that needs to be had with, I'm going to say a female, whether you are male or female or however you identify. I hate to put those, titles on everything. But yeah, I do see an important female in your life you might need to have a conversation with. It feels like you both are a little bit shy to do it, but Sagittarius, I do think you're going to initiate it. And again, it's something sort of that's a long time coming. It may have to do with, especially if this is like a friendship, like work-life balance things of like a friendship that you feel like there isn't equal give and take, like you're always making time for them, but they don't make time for you. It feels like there's a little bit of tension in friendships right now, because someone seems to be like a workaholic, or they're just not making time for their friends. Or if it's not work, it's like they have a lot of passion projects and things they do for hobby, but they're letting their friendships kind of I'm hearing the word like neglect or fall by the wayside. And I don't know, I think some of you Sagittarians, because you do value this person and this friendship, you're going to make like a last-ditch effort to save it. But with that, there might be a slightly uncomfortable conversation that you need to have, or this could go vice versa. It could be that someone approaches you. For some of you, there may be an uncomfortable, I hate to swing negative. I was trying to keep it light in my Sag readings, but there may also be an uncomfortable conversation with a boss. I think we already discussed that, though. I think it has to do with not feeling appreciated, feeling like underpaid and overworked. And again, there might be some last ditch effort to keep you on the team or keep you afloat. But I have to be honest, for a lot of you, you're just kind of over it. You just feel like their problem solving in this department or this area, their solution is just like not at all meeting your needs or requirements. So a lot of you, again, you're going to be like, peace, I'm done. I'm going elsewhere. All right, what else? That's kind of the gist of what I see going on here. Photography is coming up for, I don't know if that's a passion project or an interest for some of you. I don't know if you're looking to hire models or do something for marketing for your business, but something, I don't know, the subject of photography is coming out, and there might be a very strong connection, whether it's friendship or a potential work colleague that can kind of help you network or put your name out there or give you tips, advice, etc. Or opposite of that, you may actually serve as a really strong mentor for someone who's looking to get into that area, or even graphic design for my artsy fartsy Sagittarians out there. All right, let's move on to oracles and we'll wrap it up. So we're going to start with a crystal card. I've been doing this for every sign. Any energy that wants to come through for Sagittarius this month, for those who are into crystals. We'll take the purple one for Sagittarius. Lotus stone. Ooh, I actually don't know this one. Guidance and balance. Lotus stone is associated with the astrological sign of Scorpio, thought to be a fortunate stone for people with dark complexions, dark eyes, or dark hair. The lotus stone is a stone of reconciliation and love. It attracts positive energies and brings opposing forces into balance. The lotus stone is a guide when the path seems unclear and brings clarity in times of confusion. Interesting. I'm kind of wanting to pair it with this Eight of Cups when we talked about sort of feeling like you need to turn the page and be in the next chapter, but you're not quite sure what that is yet. Maybe get a little lotus stone and see if it helps bring clarity. And then malachite is on the top. I feel the need to just mention that. Good stone for money, I think. All right, and then let's do an energy oracle card. Anything else Sagittarius needs to hear for the month of September that maybe I didn't mention? This one's popping out. Let's see. Victory. Hey, there we go. Look at those laurels. That makes me think of film festivals, too. Maybe we have some photographers and filmmakers out there. I'm going to read from the book here. 28. That might be a message for some of you if you're into numerology. What does 28 mean to you? Actually, my dad is a Sagittarius, and he's born on the 28th. So how about that? Anyone else born on the 28th? November 28th? Let's see. Success and achievement. This card shows a beautiful spirit holding a golden victory wreath in acknowledgement of your achievements. Success is on its way, and you have a sense of pride in what you've worked to accomplish. The achievement may be a great outer success, or it may be a deep inner change that you've been exerting a lot of effort towards. Mercury retrograde. Enjoy the sense of accomplishment, but be careful not to rest upon your laurels. People expect outer triumph to bring great changes, but often there may still be inner work to do. Let yourself be open to victory on every level now. All right, Sagittarius, that's what I got for you for your September monthly tarot. Please remember to like the video. That really does help me gain traction on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, book a personal reading with me. I would love to read for you. Other than that, have a beautiful September, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.